amazing third graders, it's Miss Buffton here. I am super pumped because I get to read a book to you guys today. So before we get started, everybody stand up, do a happy dance, give yourself a pat on the back, high five yourself, because guess what? You have made it to week 6 of your online learning. And your teachers are so proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself as well. We have one more week left, so I encourage you guys to finish off this year strong. This week in reading, you have been learning all about the fantasy genre, so let's do a quick little review. Fantasy is a fiction story that uses magic or supernatural phenomena. The author's purpose is to entertain. Here are some characteristics. The place could be imaginary or another world. There are interesting creatures. The plot starts with fast-moving action that grabs the listener's attention. Characters can have special powers. There is good versus bad or evil. And there is also possible time travel. So think about these as we read this book. So this book that we're reading is about this. Now you're probably looking at me like, seriously, Miss Buffton? Are we reading a book about leaf blowers? Not quite, because this is not your average leaf blower, my friends. This is a bubble machine, and that is what our book is about today, is bubbles. All right, so if you ask me, I love bubbles. I think they're awesome. However, our main character in our story today does not think so. He's actually terrified of bubbles. So this story is called Big Bad Bubble, and it is written by Adam Rubin, and the pictures are by Daniel Salmieri. And this is actually the same author as one who wrote Those Darn Squirrels. All right, so let's get started. Big Bad Bubble. You may not know this, but when a bubble pops, it doesn't just disappear. It reappears in La La Land, where the monsters live. For some reason, all the big scary monsters are terrified of bubbles. Yerbert, what's the matter? Froofle, why are you running away? Wumpus, stop crying. Tell Wumpus to stop crying. Turns out it's all Mogo's fault. When he was little, a chewing gum bubble attacked his face. Since then, all he can talk about is how dangerous bubbles are. Bubbles are sneaky. You never hear them coming. Where there's one bubble, there are many bubbles. They travel in packs. Summer is the worst time for bubbles. That's when they go into a feeding frenzy. Don't listen to Mogo. He has no idea what he's talking about. I'll admit, it's a bit surprising when a bubble suddenly appears out of nowhere, but that's part of the deal with living in La La Land. On the plus side, donuts grow on trees and the rent is cheap. If you ask me, I'd love to live in La La Land if donuts grew on trees, huh? Hey, look! Here comes a bubble now! Yerbert, stop running around in circles! You have giant fangs! Froofle, climb down from that tree! Look at your claws! You have pointy claws! Wumpus, get out from under those covers! You're much too big for that bed anyhow! Bubbles kill thousands of monsters every year! No, they don't. Oh yeah, prove it. Look, here's a bubble. It's just a thin layer of soap and water wrapped around a ball of air. It's soft and delicate. It couldn't hurt a fly. You could pop it with a little finger. See? Yerbert, use your fangs. Froofle, use your claws. Wampus, don't be scared. It's just a teeny tiny... Oh, wait. That's kind of a big one. He's a goner. Quiet, Mogo. Go on, Wampus. You can do it. Tell Wampus he can do it. Kaboom! See, Mogo doesn't know what he's talking about. There's no reason to be afraid. Enjoy your bubble gum, Yerbert. Have fun popping your bubble wrap, Froofle. Oh boy, that is a big bath full of bubbles, Wampus. Tell Wampus to save some water for the fish. Splash! Fine, maybe bubbles aren't so dangerous after all. Butterflies, on the other hand? The Truth About Butterflies by Mogo Pogo. When we are looking back at this book, what I noticed is there were imaginary creatures, right? Monsters aren't real. So that was my first sign of the fantasy genre. Then I saw them talk about how these bubbles go into La La Land. And remember, fantasy genre says that the places that are in the book are imaginary. And La La Land was just that. If you thought of any other characteristics of fantasy that you noticed in this book, maybe send an email to your teacher and say, hey, here's what else I noticed about the Big Bad Bubble and what made it fantasy. All right, thank you so much for listening to that book. I enjoyed reading it to you, and maybe if it's nice outside today, go outside and blow some bubbles and have a wonderful day. See you later, guys.